The one and only PvP is here before us. Again, Cyril still looking dominant here. Big shout out to Laser again. I still did like how he had started out on Radisson Station and what he brought to the table. Yeah, just was one step behind tech-wise. Did falter in the end, but here we go. We're in a different matchup entirely. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hardlead, we have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is DnS. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Harstem. CranKy Ducklings gaming. It's no gaming. We're Ducklings. We're not gaming. Hey. We're casting, Bobby. We're casting. CranKy Ducklings is outside of time. Oh, we're not inside Oliveira. Thank God. Let's see, here we go. We're settling into this PvP. Harstem going to be going for a 2-gate opener here on the high ground. Likewise, so is DnS. So everything's looking by the book so far. No proxies yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some form of aggression here in this in this PvP. These probes are moving out. DnS, interesting, going to be hiding his second pylon. So we have a fake proxy pylon being set up here by DnS. Meanwhile, Harstem, he is on the hunt. He is going to be scouring the right-hand side. Ooh, going for his own fake proxy pylon as well. Both minds think alike. So essentially, we're not going to be committing with any of these pylons. They're just designed to throw off your opponent. As both probes, oh, this is a little bit awkward. They do come across each other, and that's a bit of a tell, and they may both come across those fake pylons. As DnS barely does not get eyes on it. Meanwhile, Harstem does. He does spot the pylon, which means he knows that there is no cheese, there is no proxy, there is no all-in. And DnS can guess that, but doesn't have confirmation. So a slightly better position here for Harstem. As we are getting into our first units of choice, it's going to be double Stalker out of DnS. It's going to be Stalker Sentry out of Harstem. This is a safer opener, a more defensive opener out of our Red Protoss. With a Stalker Sentry, we will have our Sentry available for a Hallucination. Hallucination Scout is going to confirm everything. We're going to be able to see the follow-up tech, the timing of the natural base, whether it's a Twilight Council, a Robo, or a Stargate. Hallucinations, they see everything here in the early game, and yeah, we're even investing into a second sentry as well. So yeah, Harstem taking a very defensive approach here to the start of this PvP. Meanwhile, DnS, he is going for one base all-in. We have a third gateway and a Robo on the way. We're going to be committing here to a one base all-in. We're not expanding. We are hyper aggressive for DnS. Harstem doesn't know yet, but because of his sentry opener, here comes a hallucination. This is the power of the sentry opener. We see everything, we will know everything, and Harstem will confirm the one base all-in as he sees the gateways as well as the Robo. Oh no, he got faked out. Recalls thinking that it was a real Oracle. Oh my god, that is unfortunate, as it was a fake Oracle, papi. Yeah, that was wild. Not like this. So this is going to be delaying the push even further. Prism is on the way. As I guess we weren't aware of the tech of choice. The tech is not a Stargate. As we can see, it's going to be a Robo opener out of Harstem. Robo for fast Immortals, because Harstem knows he needs Immortals defensively to defend against the all-in. And here comes DnS. He's going to be pushing Prism behind this to reinforce. We already have 2 shield batteries on the low ground. We have an overcharge. We have force fields available. Remember, there's no blink. No blink. So force fields are actually going to be very important here in the defense. We can slice up the army. We can even trap some of these units and secure kills. Now, as I say that, there's no blink, but we have the Prism to juggle. So DnS can, even if some of his units get caught, he has the Prism to juggle and to micro them back. He can save them. But it's going to be a very intense moment here. Looking at the units tab, we have 12 Stalkers to the 5 of Harstem. Double the Stalker count. Force fields are thrown down. We do focus on one of those Stalkers. The Prism takes a lot of hits. Shield battery is keeping everything alive so far. Another force field juggling so far, looking good. Good control from DnS, keeping those stalkers alive, but he loses another, a second, a third stalker. Almost a fourth. DnS, he bleeds out a lot of units, and Harstem, he survives long enough to get his first immortal. The immortal has arrived, and now Harstem has another power spike. We still have 12 stalkers for DnS, but the army of Harstem is becoming more and more terrifying. Looking at the units tab, Harstem didn't lose anything. He lost one zealot, which is basically nothing. I apologize to the zealots out there, but they're not they're not really important. They're just tanking shots. So far, a really strong defense from Harstem. DnS, he dives into the main base, but we are in position. No shield battery in the main, though. We do focus on one stalker. Finally, DnS, he gets some damage done. Gonna be trading well. He gets a second stalker. Good trades from our blue Protoss. At the same time, Harstem gonna be forcing this back, and DnS, he's expanding. This is a late expansion. DnS, he's down 14 probes. He is heavily behind here in the economy. He's got so much catching up to do. This is a failed all-in. He's going to try to recover. If he wants to recover, he needs to kill workers. He needs to somehow trade with these stalkers. He needs to pick off stalkers, pick off units, pick off probes, pick off economy. But he has to recall back home. And yeah, this is going to be a really rough position for DnS to come back from. Harstem, he's extending his lead, going for a third base, faster Twilight Council for Blink, getting into his own his own War Prism to reinforce. So soon, the turns are going to table, and Harstem is going to be the aggressor, DnS is going to be the defender. It's very similar to the game that we just casted between Serral and a Laser, where a Laser failed the all-in, so a Laser tried to drone, and as he was droning, Serral just counterattacked and killed him. It's a very similar position here, where DnS, he failed his own all-in, and now he's in a rough position. I appreciate that he's being active. He needs to be. He needs to be as active as possible. He needs to try to keep Harstem pinned back at home as long as he can. His observer does see the move out. We can see DnS trying to go in for a backstab, but Harstem, he comes back in time, deals with that observer, finds the army as well. Blink is going to finish a little bit faster for Harstem, bear that in mind. There's going to be a window where he has Blink and his opponent doesn't. Not the biggest window, but a window nonetheless. Behind this, DnS probing as hard as he can. And again, because DnS was posturing, it keeps Harstem back at home. Because Harstem doesn't want a base trade. Like, a base trade is best case scenario for DnS. So Harstem, he respects it. He backs off. He's chilling. He has to try to keep up with the movement here of his opponent. A couple of Adepts are going to be moving on out. And there's a lot of potential here. If these Adepts, if they get into a mineral line, they can kill like 10 or so probes. Like, they can go to town. This is the way for DnS to come back. The army's going to be clashing. Ooh, he does focus on some of those stalkers. Not a bad trade for DnS. As he will back off. At the same time, though, he has to respect the immortal count of Harstem. At the same time, here come those Adepts. But Harstem, he does see. He does take note. He's in position for the most part. A couple of workers are going to go down. Oh, they're not lined up. No. Yeah, the Adepts, they fall. They don't get any damage done. Unfortunately, those Adepts, they didn't have their shots lined up. They could one-shot workers, but they were shooting one after the other, so the shield batteries, they were keeping them alive. Behind this, Harstem, fully saturated on 3 bases. Ahead in army supply, now with Blink, and now we can commit. Oh, even taking a 4th base behind this. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we dive on the Prism. The Prism survives, but it's still very low. Good juggling here. Blinks from both players. We dive on top of the Prism. The Prism falls. Now we cannot reinforce. We can shut down this army. Good force fields here from Harstem. And he can just keep on pushing. He has his War Prism to reinforce. DnS has to pull back to his shield battery to the overcharge. He's going to try to hold on, but Harstem has the high ground. Overcharge is popped a little bit prematurely, actually. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, a bit of a premature overcharge. Adepts, they shade into the mineral line. They will pick off some probes. Workers that DnS can't afford to lose, but going for the Immortal. Oh. DnS going for the Immortal even. A bit of an awkward position for Harstem, but yeah, he dives on top of the Immortal of DnS. We'll shut it down. Trading 1 for 1. DnS, he will focus on every single Immortal, but it's just too much. GG gets called, and Harstem will take game number 1. GG. Solid game there out of Harstem, able to identify the all-in and react well enough, able to prepare back at home, get into his shield batteries, his sentries, his immortal production. Again, a really good reaction out of Harstem. Really solid play from him. DnS unfortunately wasn't able to hide his all-in. Ideally, so in that scenario, if you're going for one base all-in like that, he did see the sentry opener. It is so imperative that we deny the hallucination scout. If we're able to catch the hallucination in the center of the map, that would be huge, and then we can pull it off. Then we can try to catch Harstem off guard. But once the scout occurred, again, really good reactions out of Harstem, did shut it down. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. On Oceanborn. Let's go. We've all panicked like that before, true. We've all panicked, you know, when we see a hallucination come in, sometimes we think it's real. Yo, I've fallen for this. I know Asher has as well. I'm sure many who ladder have. The shadow of the whale. The amount of times that I'm playing on Oceanborn, and this shadow here, this shadow comes in, and I'm like, I think it's like a medevac coming in or something. Like, mate, that goddamn shadow, shaking my head. But here we go. Getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes down in the series looking to fight back. It is DnS. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. One game away from taking the series. It is Harstem. PTSD whale, true. Like this, look at this. It's not, whatever it is. It's like a giant, like, whale, jellyfish, octopus, squid. I don't. It took some time to get used to it. Like, at this point, I ignore it, but early on, in the season, it would give me heart attacks. I think it's like a warp prism or like a BC rolling in or something. Ay. Este squid whale. As we're getting into our openers. Once again, 2-gate opener out of DnS, 2-gate opener out of Harstem. We do have our probes being sent out. It looks like, once again, we're going for some fake proxy pylons. One is thrown down from Harstem, the other thrown down for DnS. And once again, the probes are going to be coming across each other. And once again, Harstem will scout the pylon, and DnS should this time scout the pylon. Oh, they cancel! Let's go. Pylon finishes. Meanwhile, the pylon gets cancelled. The mind games. I'm all for it. I mean, I say the mind games. Like, this will make sure that this pylon is saved. Otherwise, it would have been killed. Just because these pylons are out in the open. Ooh, meanwhile, Harstem gonna be a little bit more aggressive this time. He is going for a Stargate before Nexus. Okay. Now, with this Stargate opener, we should be going for oracles to harass across the map to deal some economic damage. We may have a delayed expansion, but we will be crippling the economy, or ideally hindering the economy of the opposing player. Meanwhile, DnS back at home, going for a double Adept opener instead. The Adepts will be chasing down these probes, and we are going for a Stargate as well. A delayed Stargate though, but a Stargate nonetheless. The Adepts are moving out. Their role here is to try to threaten the mineral line, threaten the bases, and try to get into some worker damage, some worker kills. We'll see if they can. As they're zooming across the map, Oracle's on the way. Stalkers are in position, and we also have Harstem patrolling with this probe. The role here of this probe is to throw down that shield battery just in time to block off any kind of Adepts. There we go. Shield battery has been thrown down. Adepts will not find a way into the main base, or we actually go to town on them. One Adept falls. Okay, we have a choice to make. We saw the Oracle. Do we go for a Phoenix? What do we go for? DnS is going to be expanding. No, he goes for the Oracle himself. Bold move. Okay. So going to try to get some economic damage of his own as Harstem is moving out. Both players are expanding. Pylon is under threat. And we can see Harstem's follow-up tech of choice. It is going to be a Twilight Council, I imagine, for Blink. Blink is going to be on the way. Oracle dives in. Shield battery is done. Stalker's in position. The Oracle doesn't find any damage, but we at least confirm we get eyes on the tech of choice and on the Oracle that's on the way for DNS. Harstem going to be chasing it. Going to be getting in position. There we go. We have 4 Stalkers in the main. Nothing here at the natural, but there's nothing to kill at the natural, so should be safe and sound. As this Oracle gets both Adept kills. Crazy. DnS going towards the main, but he should be aware that, again, he's been scouted, so Harstem's in position. Harstem is being greedy, by the way. He doesn't throw down his shield battery. Heavily reliant on positional play, and he gets so much damage done. Oh my god. DnS a little bit distracted back at home. Takes extra hits, and Harstem, he wants it. He wants that Oracle. Up. Oh, he's gonna get it. No, DnS. Loses the Oracle, and he has achieved nothing with it. This Stargate opener was not worth it for DnS, not at all. And now Harstem has map control. He has Blink on the way. He is ahead in tech. He is even in workers, slightly behind. Okay, sorry, we did get a Phoenix. Did at least get a Phoenix with the Stargate, so we can at least force a recall. We at least have that. Stalkers of DnS are moving out. We do come across the Stalkers of Harstem, and we should shut them down. Did you get one? Very nicely done. Meanwhile, Harstem is getting a proxy pylon set up. Going to be reinforcing with the rest of his Stalkers. Up to 10. Up to 10 Stalkers already here. And we are going to be committing how many gateways? We have 3 gateways here for Harstem. We have still only 2 for DnS. He's going for a 3rd. Oh. Harstem is getting ready for 2-base aggression. Meanwhile, DnS is thinking further ahead, and he has not seen the army. He's back at home. No shield battery. No shield battery at the natural. No shield battery here at the 3rd. He is not prepared at all. Now on the way. But Harstem, he has arrived. Getting a kill on that pylon. Getting a cancel on the 3rd base. Getting his own 3rd behind this. And again, Harstem, he has the Stalker lead. The Phoenix is going to help, don't get me wrong. Phoenix does help, but there's just too much firepower here. Too many Stalkers. The boys are being pulled. Probes are going down. And Harstem, he's snowballing out of control. GG gets called. Harstem will take the 2-0. Will take down DnS. GG. GG, well played. Solid performance there out of Harstem in this PvP. Game 1, scouting the all-in and shutting it down. Here in Game 2, being a little bit cheeky with his opener, going for a faster Oracle, getting into a faster Blink as well, and shutting down, once again, the aggression of DnS. And DnS was in the dark. He didn't know what was coming his way. He didn't know that Harstem was committed on 2 bases, and DnS was blindly just going into a 3rd base and probing up, and was caught with his pants down. GG, well played. And with that, we are down to one final series. One final best of 3 here. It is going to be Fiant versus Dolan. Let's go. We have a TVZ ahead of us. I'm ready for it. I hope I'm ready for it. I don't.